Read o'clock story time. Today's story is God's Storybook. Creation. God made heaven and earth, the moon, stars, and sun, and air to breathe. It was very pretty, but it was empty. And God said, I will first make fish to swim in the waters, big fish and little fish. The sky was very quiet and still, so God made birds to fly and sing. And then He made animals, giraffes, elephants, tigers and monkeys, lambs and sheep, and they were all friendly. And then He made Adam and Eve and a special garden for them to live in. He was pleased with all these things He had made in just 6 days, and on the seventh day He rested. The garden. She sat in the garden in quietness and trusted a garden full of trees. But one in the midst she must not touch, it was forbidden. The sun reflects apples with leaves hanging on a tree, a bright light before her eyes. There is a rustling sound, and to her surprise, a serpent is resting among the branches. She could not resist and went closer and found it pleasing. She saw her coming and slid it to her side, whispering, Come touch the fruit and eat. You will not die, but you will be as wise as your God and I. She is startled by its gaze, and she looks in its eyes and hears its deceptive call. Closer and closer she nears the tree, bending her ear to the serpent's call, plucking the fruit, and then she falls. Running to her helpmate, she quickly passes the fruit, then he may eat and join her fate. They stood at the gate, and God came walking by, in the coolness of the day, looking for His people who had disobeyed. Adam and Eve were amongst the trees in fear. They heard Him speak, My love and forgiveness is with you. A way has been provided that you will be saved. 5 loaves and 3 fish. In his little village of boyhood and carefree days, with dreams of lizards and snakes, tadpoles and frogs, and pranks upon others, he excitedly lay down to sleep. For the morning he would go on a journey to bear a prophet speak. In the early dawn of the waking hours, quietly running to the river's edge, 3 fish are caught and placed in a basket with the 5 barley loaves for his long trip ahead. In sleepy villagers along the way, mothers holding babies, children clinging to their skirts eagerly follow Jesus to hear the stories He told. Warm spring wind bring flowers to the Holy Land. Lavender, lupine and poppies grow on hills. Sitting high above the road, among ridges and rocks and boulders, lions and bobcats creep from their dens. Highnesses cry their shrieking sound, but he does not fear all this, and the eagerness walks on. On slopes covered with grass are thousands of people sitting in quietness, listening to words they have not heard. Nearing a sea called Galilee are fishing boats and nets floating on water. A man stands to speak. After a long day of teaching and the setting of Su'a, there are many hungry people with no food. Where to go? This man, ever mindful, calls upon his followers to feed these people. But their reply is heard, Master, there are many, with what we shall feed them. And near them the boy stood holding his basket with 3 fish and 5 loaves of bread, gladly giving it to be blessed, and then lifted the meager supply with his hands to heaven. The food is multiplied and all people were filled, with 12 baskets of remains, and all because of one boy's gift of a lunchable share. Jesus calms the storm. It was dark that night as Jesus and his friends walked along the sea. They were hungry and were going to go fishing. The waters were calm and the moon shone, the stars were bright as they got onto the boat. Jesus was tired and fell asleep. Then the waters became rough and waves appeared. Lightning and thunder rolled, and the men were afraid, spoke to Jesus, who they called to awake. Jesus stood up in the boat and commanded the waters to be still, and everything became calm. The story of Job. Job lived in the land of Uz. As far as you can see, all the land belonged to him. He was very rich and had lots of sheep and lambs. He loved God and worshipped him and always prayed for his children. One day, had things happened to Job, all his family and animals were taken away. He was very sad. One day his friends came to visit him and told him the reason these things happened was because he had been bad. But he prayed for his friends and he did not get mad at God. Sometimes when bad things happen to us, we wonder if it is our fault and are scared. But no matter what, we must remember He loves us even though we don't understand. He is always with us and helps us to know good and bad. Baby Jesus. A long time ago, there was a baby born. He was born in a stable with sheep and lambs. A star shined big and bright that night, leading wise men to bring gifts and worship him. Angels sang in the sky while the baby cried. Mary and Jesus loved their child. His mother and father took him on a donkey to a faraway land to keep him safe from a very bad king. Jesus was obedient and always kind. He grew up to be a man and died on a cross so we would be saved and none of us lost. The end. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your loved ones, your family and your friends, and do subscribe Video Clock Storytime if you are new so that all the upcoming videos could reach you in time. I'll see you soon. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Bye bye.